I'm sitting in a hotel in city centre Manchester with Chris and Debbie from Blondie. Guys, how are you?
Thanks, Red.
Very well, very well.
You were saying, Debbie, this is the first time you can recall being in Manchester in the sunshine.
Yes, but that really doesn't mean a whole lot because I don't have a terrific memory. But I think most of the time we've been here, it's been a little bit on the damp, darkish,
Yeah.
Oh, the
Manchester.
That's easy to believe.
Yeah.
Tell us about the new record. There's a new single which we're going to play in the moment, A Rose by Any Name, featuring Beth Ditto. So
Yeah.
how do you and Beth Ditto come together?
Well, I knew who Beth was. I knew who Gossip was, the Gossip. And then we did a festival in Seattle, Washington, called the Bumper Shoot. And so that was phenomenal. She opened for us, and so we've sort of officially, met then.
And she's quite a performer, isn't she?
She's
a great
wonderful.
singer, good singer.
She's a great singer and a terrific girl. I just love her.
It's from an album which has got a great title, Ghosts of Download.
Mm-hmm.
What's that saying? Ghosts
Maybe
of
it's
Download.
about the spirits that live in the energy out there in the space between the computer chips.
The single is not written by you guys.
Matt wrote the single
Matt Catspawn.
and his old lady.
Okay, so what about the album? Is that still mostly written by you, or are you working with other writers
It was
now?
really collaborative. This one was there's more people involved with this record than any other, I think. So there were a lot of people developed the songs together, which is great. Maybe that also speaks to the branching out through the world of cyberspace too.
Yeah. It was actually interesting how Matt wrote this because it was really divinely inspired. His wife was expecting, and they didn't know if it was a boy or a girl, and that's what the lyric is about. Doesn't matter if you're a boy or a girl. I'm going to love you just the same, and wherever you go, all over the world, you're a rose by any name.
Does this give us a good clue to what the album sounds like as a whole? Do you think the single? Is it indicative?
Maybe. It just only in the dance aspect. It's all kind of dance-y.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I think this sort of harkens to a more traditional pop, pop version of a Blondie song, pop rock.
Well, it has a lot of electronic on it. It's people saying it's a little retro-y sounding too.
Yeah.
I can't tell. I don't know. I always wait to see what people think of it.
Well, that's the neatest trick you can pull off, is to be simultaneously right now and retro. That's a really good thing to put. But this is the new Blondie single with Beth Ditto, and this is A Rose by Any Name. That's Blondie's new single, A Rose by Any Name, featuring Beth Ditto. I'm with Debbie and Chris in a hotel in the centre of sun-drenched Manchester, and which makes a nice change for all of us, actually. I mean, you were saying before that dance thing had always been an element of Blondie, hadn't it? I mean, you kind of pioneered the disco revival, which is now huge. Now Rogers and Daft Punk and all that stuff. It's back in a big way, disco.
All modern pop music now seems to have a dance element, which I always like because it's about the movement and the whole excitement. And there's a tribal element to rock and roll and pop music anyway.
If you look at, Donna Summer's stuff with Giorgio, I mean, there's definitely that fresh sound to it and the structure of the song. But you can also see the R&B and it's definitely a multi-layering and a sort of a layering process through all of our music. So
what was the pop music you first heard that made you think, I want to do that, I want to be in a band?
Oh, gee.
Well, I was like a folk music guy. For when I was a kid, when I was a teenager, all my heroes were 60 years old anyway, which were all the old blues guys. So
right.
They, that's always ironic to me nowadays that we're older. But you know, everything, just all the 60s music. You know, I loved the Rolling Stones very much, and Hendrix and all that stuff is what I grew up with.
Yeah, yeah. What about you, Deb? Who was the first singer that you heard coming out of the radio when you thought?
I can't possibly say who the first one was, but I think I'm old enough to say that I was aware of a thing called the Hit Parade.
Right.
Which was like Patti Page and Rosemary Clooney and the girl singers like that. And, you know, that they sort of, that was the end of big band, sort of had a bit of the jazz thing in it, but yet they were...
There's a bit of jazz music wafting over the hotel as you're saying that.
Yeah.
It's like you've hired your own band to back up what you're saying.
So I think as a little girl, those were the first singers that I really was aware of. And then, Fats Waller and Fats Domino and some of the, black musicians. And I don't know, I've always had a good mixture of jazz available to me. And I don't know, I've said it many times, coming from a metropolitan area, it's really fortunate to have, been full of all different kinds of musical references and, just lush, all kinds of, ethnic music. And so it's fantastic. I
was reading an interview with you, Debbie, when he said, my mother told me, always think of yourself as young. And I think that's an interesting thing, because you mentioned the Rolling Stones as well. And it seems to me that ageism is the ism that's kind of still vaguely permitted in the press. You can't be sexist, you can't be racist, but people can say of the Rolling Stones, look, they're ancient. But, Mick Jagger, how could he have done a better job of selling that show?
Yeah.
To be, but it's still okay to be sort of ageist, it seems. So
yeah, well, nobody wants to die, That's basically, that's what it is, I think.
But you think of yourself as young. That's your mother's advice, was it?
Well, no, I don't know if that's exactly what she said, but it's close to that. She used to say that, and I've heard this from many, many people besides her, that, you may, get on, but inside of your head, you sort of get to a point where you always think of yourself as being 25 or 21 or 16, depending on the person. I mean, everybody has a different sort of age that they hit, and they sort of, that's it, that's their frame of thinking. So I'm glad that mine is on the young side.
Enjoy the rest of the tour, and we look forward very much to the new album. And thanks for giving us some time, Chris and Debbie.
Cheers,
thank you.
Thanks.
Well, thank you.